Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and today it's about tea and how tea, the right teas, can actually scare cancer away. So we're going to talk about what is the unique benefit in tea, how God designed the teas to benefit our body, what happens when we drink tea, how much tea should we be drinking a day, and which teas are going to benefit us the most. I first want to start off with why tea matters to your health, why it matters, why it can scare cancer away, why it can create such a strong immune system in your body, even stronger than your resveratrol or your vitamin C. This is very important for us to understand. So move aside coffee and move aside cola drinks, because tea is #1 in the beverage for fighting cancer. Actually, it's higher than most foods. So here's the reason why. There are over 1,300 human studies showing how tea reduces cancer. It actually increases heart health. It actually improves your metabolism. So, hey, let's just not only reduce cancer, but improve our metabolism at the same time. And it also, this is very important, it also helps to improve the health of your liver. So when our liver is healthy, our skin glows, our hair is shiny, we feel good. When the tea effects affect our body, we have less cancer risk, and this is a huge benefit. And it tastes good. So that's another benefit. So what happens is, tea is actually a recipe of polyphenols, amino acids, caffeine, and about a half a dozen anti-cancer nutrients. There are so many studies out now, actually human studies, not mice or anything like that, that actually prove how tea reduces cancer. So stay tuned to the end when I tell you how much tea you need to have in your diet every day and how to get the benefit of those teas. Let's start with understanding cancer. I've taught about cancer several times before, and we're going to pull some of those teachings together to help you understand cancer even more. Cancer is very opportunistic. It's an opportunistic scavenging monster is what it is. It's looking for the right environment, and we actually have the ability to thwart, to inhibit that environment for being cancer friendly. We can control almost 85% of cancers. It has to do with toxins in our mind, toxins in our body, what we're taking in from the environment around us, what's on our food, what's in our food. Are you eating junk food, processed food? Are you stressed? The effect of stress on your body is so cancer, it actually increases the chance of cancer if we do not have controlled stress. We all have stress. It's how you manage your stress that matters. Is it a chronic stress that you can't seem to get out of, or is it just the daily stress of making it to work on time? So stress is an important factor that we need to learn how to control. And the other option is exercise. Are you exercising? Because your body needs exercise. Now, what we have learned through studying the biblical diet, God's recipe for excellent health, is that the foods that God has created for us actually help us to inhibit cancer. They help us to have a better mental mindset. They help us to have clarity, energy, less pain. But when we eat the lab experiment foods, we suffer, and we suffer greatly. So recognizing the foods that God created for us are always going to give us the greatest benefit. And the way He designed our body is also designed to get rid of cancer cells. It's designed to recognize it and kick it out of our body. Yet we have to have a strong immune system for our body to take that action for us. Some of the foods that actually help to prevent cancer and to reduce the risk of cancer, and actually to help cancer cells to die quickly, #1 is going to be cruciferous vegetables. Now, I've talked about cruciferous vegetables in other videos, and I'll put a link to those down below, because the 12 health promoting foods in cruciferous vegetables, there's 12 different families of foods like broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and kale. Those all have the ability to inhibit angiogenesis. Cancer grows first in our body because we have an environment that breeds well for cancer, but it extends beyond just being a cancer cell to being a tumor, to being a metastasis, because of angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is the vessel that is formed in our body when the tumor sends out signals saying, I need oxygen and I need nutrients so I can grow bigger and bigger. Well, these foods that God created stop that ability to grow a vessel to get the oxygen and the nutrients. Therefore, the cancer starves. It says, oh, well, this is not a body that I can thrive in, and it just shrivels up and dies. It's not quite that simple. I would love for it to be, but So anyway, recognize, but yet God's foods inhibit the growth of the angiogenesis, that vessel of supply. Tea is stronger than cruciferous. And you know how I love, teach, and preach cruciferous and how I'm in love with cruciferous, yet tea has the ability to, is actually stronger than cruciferous vegetables in fighting off cancer. Now there's other foods, like all of the 7 foods of the Promised Land are cancer preventative, not to mention also your foods that have resveratrol, your grapes, which is also a Promised Land food, and then blueberries, pure chocolate, not the watered down version, or even white chocolate, that doesn't count. Foods like walnuts and spinach, all of these are good. And we hear about them all the time, yet tea is stronger than all of those foods. Now these foods are all amazing, and remember, tea is on top of these. Tea is even greater than all of these as a powerful antioxidant. And they turn your cells, they keep your cells armed and ready. It's like tea plus these other foods create a SEAL team effect. It's the strongest of the strongest fighting for your health, fighting for your life on an everyday basis, whether you are aware of it or not. And that's what these foods do for us. They keep being on guard no matter what is happening. Now, it's also important to recognize many people teach about how to boost your immune system and all of these supplements that'll do that, and I am a pro-supplement person, but be careful because sometimes you can overstimulate your system, and tea will never overstimulate your system. Let me throw this disclaimer in. Tea is not a one-stop shop for cancer. If you have cancer and you're like, I'm just going to do this tea therapy and be done with it, I am not saying that. But tea is another arsenal in your tool chest to fight cancer. Let's look at the chemistry of the tea leaf. So think of the entire tea leaf, all of it. It is filled with polyphenols. Now, polyphenols is the overarching, it's like the grandfather word for everything that's inside that tea leaf. So polyphenols, we hear that word all the time when we're talking about foods that God created. Now, within polyphenols, we have flavonoids, and I talk about this a lot in our grocery discovery videos. So flavonoids are a part of the polyphenols, and there are over 6,000 different flavonoids in the foods that we eat. Many of these are in the tea leaf. Now, within the flavonoids, we have flavonols, which is just the individual ingredients that make up the flavonoids. Now, as we break down the flavonols, we come to the catechins. Catechins are the most powerful free radical scavenger in your body. I talk about free radicals. I teach about that in the Treasures of Healthy Living DVD series that churches teach around the country, but you can do it on your own as well. So catechins are a very powerful free radical scavenger. Free radicals contribute to cancer disease, heart disease, having metabolism issues, and having liver issues. So the catechins are a powerful free radical scavenger, and this is important to understand. We need our foods to work for us and not just taste good. So catechins are just a super powerful antioxidant. Now we're getting to the most intricate ingredient in the tea leaf, and that's the EGCG. This is where it's like the tiniest things have the most power in God's design. And always remember that if you feel like you're just a small person in this world and you can't make a big difference, yes, you can, because sometimes the smallest person makes the greatest difference. And that's what's true also in the tea leaves. So the EGCG, this is a super powerhouse of catechins. So if you take all of these catechins with their great free radical advantage and you power them up and just in a tiny little bit, that's going to be your EGCG. This is truly where the SEAL team of immunity really works. Now, here's what I want you to understand. The EGCG is 100 times stronger than the vitamin C that I teach you about in the grocery discovery videos. And you know I'm in love with the vitamin C that God puts in our fruits and our vegetables. Yet the tea is 100 times stronger. That's an amazing tea feat to understand today. And it's twice as powerful as resveratrol. Now, there are a lot of people drinking lots of resveratrol to hope to have that anti-aging effect, yet tea is twice as strong as resveratrol. So to help us understand 6 of the amazing teas that are going to power our immune system, I am here at Spice and Tea Exchange in Dunedin, Florida. I just came across this store. It's an amazing store. It smells wonderful. And the flavors that they serve are even better. So Heather is here to teach us the 6 amazing teas that are going to help power our immune system. So welcome, Heather. I'm so glad to have met you.
Thank you. You too.
So tell us the 6 teas.
So one of the teas is going to be matcha. Matcha is a ground green tea. So the benefit with matcha is that you're ingesting the entire leaf instead of steeping the nutrients out of it. We also have green teas, which are also very high in antioxidants, as well as black teas. Rooibos, which is a herbal tea which contains no caffeine, is a plant found in South Africa, very rich in antioxidants as well. So another great tea would be hibiscus. Hibiscus is very rich in antioxidants as well. Gunpowder tea is another nice option.
So of the 6 that you just mentioned, we've already taught them about polyphenols. Is that really just the main thing? So could it be any tea whatsoever? Why these 6? Did you pick these 6 as the most powerful?
Well, all tea contains the polyphenols that fight the free radicals. These teas contain approximately 200 milligrams of antioxidants per serving. So they're the powerhouse of the teas.
So using these 6 teas that she just talked about, we're going to share a little bit later how to get 5 cups of tea a day. That's not as hard as you may think. Yet, share with us, Heather, the 3 ways to get tea into the diet.
So you can cold steep your tea and have a nice iced tea, a hot tea, or you can add it into your recipes. You can add tea to yogurt, oatmeal, make it into salsas. It's good in an adult beverage. Smoothies is another great way to introduce matcha and different teas as well.
Now, when I read about adding tea into your smoothies or your salad dressings, I just thought you would take the pre-made tea, the liquid tea, and then add it. But what I'm realizing, it's not that at all. It's dried tea, correct?
Correct, yes. You can take dried tea and add it to olive oil and cook with your olive oil. You can use a mortar and pestle and grind it if you're wanting a thinner consistency, not such a chunky consistency.
All right, that sounds amazing. And they just made some elderberry tea over here that looks really pretty, and I can't wait to try it. All right, so those are the top 6 teas that we want to get in our diet for preventing cancer, not to mention heart disease and just having that calmness.
Absolutely.
The mental clarity, yes, which would be always great for everyone. And so thank you, Heather. And so let's look at, in your store, some of the essential items we need to have our own tea pantry. So we've gone from buying the tea already made in the convenience store. That's done. We're no longer buying tea bags in the grocery store. So if we're going to be brewing our own tea, and I also want to touch on when you said cold brew, because to me, cold brew, when I grew up, was you boiled the water, you put the tea bags in, and then when it was done steeping, you would move it into ice water. But that's not what you're talking about, is it? Explain cold brew.
So cold brew is basically putting your loose leaf tea into the bottom of a container, adding cold water, and letting it sit in the fridge for a couple of hours. Very, very simple.
And we get the same antioxidant benefit
Absolutely.
by cold brew versus hot.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's a learning truth that I just picked up on. So I want to know in the comments, how many of you are familiar with cold brew without boiling it first and then chilling it? So I'm kind of excited about this. All right, so let's look at your store. Show us some of the essentials we need in our pantry to start using tea in our diet every day.
The best way to get the maximum benefits and maximum flavor out of your tea is to give it as much room as possible. A lot of people use the little ball steepers, which are fine, but in order to get your full flavor from your tea, you're really going to want to give it room to breathe and open up. So I suggest...
Go ahead.
I suggest something like one of our glass teapots. You would basically just put your loose leaf tea in the bottom of it, fill it up to the amount that you would like to steep. It has a nice double fine mesh strainer, and just pour your tea.
Okay, that's on my list. I'm going to add that to my list. That is really nice. What is something else they could use in their pantry for just making tea easy?
So another option would be something like this. This is called an Ingenuity. And once again, you're just going to put your loose leaf tea inside here, the amount of water that you would like. Once this steeps, you're going to pop this on top of your cup, and there's a lever here that's going to release the tea and put it into your tea mug.
Okay, so then we're just using all of the tea mugs that we already have in our house, all of our beverage cups, even our travel mugs that are now 20 to 30 ounces.
Yes.
And so we could just put it right in there. Okay, that's excellent as well. Any other tricks to making just a good pot of tea?
So it's really important when you're talking about black teas and green teas not to oversteep your teas. The longer you let it set, the more bitter your tea is going to become. If you like a stronger tea, add more tea. So instead of a teaspoon or a tablespoon, add a little bit more. But the longer that you let your tea set, the more bitter it's going to become.
All right, great. Now let's go back to the 6 that you mentioned. How would they see those on the shelf here in your store? Like, what does it look like? Would they be buying it in a tin? Would they be buying it in a package? So let's let them see what you have in the store for those 6, and so they can or also order it online, because we're going to give you the link to those teas down below so that you can just order them directly from their store.
So here are a few options of different varieties that we carry. We have our hibiscus flower here. This is a straight hibiscus flower. It's food grade, steepable. You can also use that and rehydrate it and add it to salsas. In the middle here we have a Bonita Peach Rooibos. Here on the end we have a Mystic Dragon Green Tea, and that consists of Sencha and Dragonwell teas. Down below we have a Marrakesh Mint, which is a gunpowder tea, and Golden Monkey, which is a black tea. And then in the small tin on the end is matcha, which is a fine ground powder. And that can be added into teas, smoothies, yogurt, lattes, all kinds of different delicious recipes.
The number of servings that is truly cancer preventative is going to be 5 servings a day. Now that's 5 8-ounce drinks of a tea a day, or you can add it into your food. And we talked about this already with Heather. We can take the matcha green tea, the powder, and add the powder into our smoothies, into our olive oil, into our dressing. You just sprinkle it on your food. You can also, and she showed me this really great salmon rub, and that would have tea in it. So you would get a serving of tea just in your salmon rub. And then as I was checking out at her store, I picked up some of these green tea mints, and just 3 mints is a serving of tea. And so there's lots of fun ways you can get tea into your diet every day. So the goal is 5 tea drinks per day, or 5 tea servings. So that could be, what would be ideal is an 8-ounce drink of tea before you start your day, before you have breakfast. And as you know, I really like for people to have lemon in their drink in the morning. So you could squeeze the lemon in the tea, you get the pH balancing effect, plus you get the anti-cancer effect of the tea. You could even go ahead and add in the parsley, the cilantro that I talk about as well into your tea, and another compounding effect. We're not taking away from anything, we're just increasing the value. So you could have a 16-ounce cup that you sip on in the morning, a 16-ounce cup you sip on in the afternoon, and then, you know, maybe you have a little bit in your smoothie, a little bit in your salad dressing. There's so many easy ways, but the goal is 5 servings per day. Now, we talked about just the chemistry of the tea leaf, we talked about the health benefits, but there's also, you know, it's good to have the chemistry, it's good to have the medicinal effect, I need to drink my tea, but there's also the fun element of tea. So there's 3 fun elements. 1, flavor. I love having just a delicious cup of tea. I've tried some teas, you know, just as they are, and I just need a little flavor enhancer. So you could add some cream, like some almond milk, and make it into a latte. You could add lots of different things. I could add some cocoa powder into a chocolate latte and make it a delicious drink. Yet, you need to understand, so flavor is one of the fun products of tea, but theanine. Theanine is another fun product of tea that comes naturally. Theanine is what it crosses into your blood-brain barrier, and that's another protection that God designed for us, and it gives us that calming effect. It's not, you don't drink tea and get all jittery. If you do, you've got the wrong tea, or you've oversteeped it, but you want that calming effect from the theanine. It relaxes the mind and gives you alertness and calmness at the same time. It improves actually the speed, the accuracy, and the performance of the task that you're performing for the day. And so I know a lot of you are running for the tea in your cupboard right now to add this in. So besides theanine, we get that other ingredient, which you already know about it, and that's caffeine. People have a love-hate relationship with caffeine. And so definitely I understand that, but yet caffeine actually also helps you be more alert. Yet tea has usually 1/5, even to 1/10 as amount of caffeine as coffee. So here's the bottom line about a tea. Science already suggests that tea polyphenols, the flavonoids, the catechins, and the EGCG can work as an anti-tumor agent by derailing cancer from its plan for an unlimited growth. So remember, cancer is opportunistic, and we're going to take that opportunity away. We are going to erase that opportunity so tea is not comfortable in your body and just eliminates itself right away. Now I want to help you build your tea pantry. The leaves need to be fresh quality. It should look like it came from a plant and not a dustpan. Mediocre tea will never taste phenomenal. Number 2 is water. As critical as the leaves are, we need to use good quality water. Filtered is best. Distilled is not. Too many minerals have been removed and your tea will taste flat. Number 3 is temperature and timing. A great tea can taste like okra if it's steeped too long or too hot. So use a timer. And if it turns out to be too bitter, just add a little bit more water or a little bit of almond milk. Number 4, a steeping vessel. Ceramic holds the heat really well, and it doesn't change the flavor of the tea. Glass is really good as well, but it doesn't retain the heat. For cold brew, you can actually use mason jars. Now the metals, especially the metals that we have in our tumblers that we're buying all the time because they have a double wall system and they keep everything hot or cold, sometimes they can give a funny flavor to your tea, so be careful about that. Number 5 is a strainer or an infuser. Any strainer works. You don't have to buy or spend any money on a strainer. You probably have many things you could use already in your kitchen to strain off the tea leaves. Now infusion and an infuser is your best option. Just don't pack the tea leaves too tight. You want the water to be able to swirl around the leaves so the leaves can open up and release their flavor. And number 6 is how you store your tea leaves. They need to stay fresh, and they need to stay away from the light in a container such as a tin or an airtight container. Away from heat, away from light, away from moisture, and also extreme cold. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and how to stop cancer dead in its tracks. So take control of that element of your life and build a strong immune system. I want to continue teaching you God's recipe for excellent health, and today that includes tea and lots of tea. Such a great story. I hope you can visit one near you. If not, you can order these supplies in the links down below. We will give you a link to their store and you can connect with them, call them. I highly would promote them anywhere, and I hope you enjoy it. So remember, remove the opportunity for cancer and enjoy a great day out. I hope you stumble upon a great discovery as well when you're out shopping or visiting new towns. This has been fun. I'm here in Dunedin, Florida, just shopping around and stumbled upon this, and what a great find it was. So thanks for watching. Be sure and hit like, subscribe, and the bell, and I look forward to staying connected with you.